Today we're talking about lawn irrigation, and we're about to start right now. Hi everyone, Rob, the Average Lawn Guy. Thanks for tuning in. I realized by the time this video goes live, we would have had a couple days of rain already, at least here in the south. But at the time of this recording, we're in the period of drought, or I call it a mini drought. It's about 12 days of no rain. So this would have been a perfect opportunity to bring out your irrigation system and start watering your lawn. So what I'm noticing, many homeowners are taking out their manual watering system, and that's fine and all. I don't even have an irrigation system. I water my lawn manually. So we're in a good mindset of trying to water our lawn. But the thing many people are doing wrong is they're taking out their irrigation, and it's either an oscillating system, the ones that kind of gives a good coverage and goes on the left to right pattern, or an impact sprinkler. It's the one that gives not so much coverage but puts out a little bit more water. But what I'm noticing, people are actually setting it in place for about 10 to 30 minutes and then moving it to a new location. What many people don't realize is they have to measure out exactly how much is coming out that system. So the general rule of thumb is you need to get some water down on your lawn, roughly about 1 to 1.5 inch. That's just a universal rule, and I think most people know that. But what many people don't know is how inadequate the current systems they have right now. So before we start, what you need is some type of measuring device. The most common one to use is a tuna can. Just find a regular plain old tuna can, wash it out really well, and set it out on the lawn. You want to have at least 2 tuna cans, one closest to the water source and one away from the water source. But the more cans you have, the better. Now if you don't have tuna cans, or if you just don't like tuna, you can use a sardine can. Now if you don't like sardines, something's wrong with you. But any type of can will do, whether it's a can of Spam or any type of measuring can, something that's small but wide at the top. So I know how much my system puts out. I'm going to go through the motions just to show you exactly. You measure how much is coming out of your system. Now I know the faucet in my home puts out about 70 psi of pressure, and I have a way to measure it. It's an old gauge. It's seen better times. It's from Rainbird, and it's a simple gauge where you put on the faucet itself, turn the faucet to max, and you can see how much of a pressure is coming out the faucet. But most people typically have roughly about 50 to 60 psi of pressure. That's usually about the standard. Now in this first test, I'm using the oscillating system. This is by far the most common one I see all throughout the neighborhoods. So you can see here, I have the system on, I have the timer going, and I have tuna cans, one closest to it and one away from it. And the whole point is to measure how much water is coming out over a certain period of time. So I come back later to see how much water is there. And after about an hour of watering, I came to measure what's in the tuna can itself. It was less than 1/4 inch of water. So I let time pass by, and I kept checking on it every hour. By the 3-hour mark, you can see here the tuna can was just under 1 inch. This tells me that this sprinkler system, the oscillating type, takes about 3 hours to put down 1 inch of water. In the next test, I used an impact sprinkler. This is another one I see that's pretty common. And you can see here I'm putting down the tuna can closest to the source and one that's away from it. And after only 1 hour, the one closest to the source has just about 1 inch of water filled almost to the top. And the one away from the source is almost at 1 inch. It's more like a little bit past 3/4. So this gives me an idea that in 1 hour's time, I'm able to put down about 1 inch of water with the impact sprinkler. Now this is just my system, and remember I'm putting out about 70 psi of water pressure. So this gives me an idea that it takes me about 3 hours to fully put down 1 inch of water on my lawn with the oscillating system. And with the impact sprinkler, it takes about 1 hour to put down 1 inch of water on my lawn. So knowing this in back of my mind, I typically plan ahead, usually 1 day out the week. I have these timers set up where I have multiple hoses connected to it, and I have it timed to go off at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m., let's say for example, the impact sprinkler, it takes 1 hour to water the lawn at 1 inch of water. So I know at 4 a.m. one zone is going to start, and then at 5 a.m. another zone is going to start. So this way I can have at least 4 zones covered, and by the time I wake up, I can just move the sprinkler heads to a different zone where I haven't been able to cover while I was sleeping. So this is kind of like one workaround. Instead of having to come out on the lawn every hour to water and change positions, you can set it on a timer, and this way you can have the coverage that you need. So another way to go about this, let's say it takes you 3 hours to put down 1 inch of water on your lawn. That's a lot of time. What you can do is split those up into 2 different days. So at the beginning of the week, you can water for 1.5 hours, and then at the end of the week you can water for another 1.5 hours. That total time will put down about 1 inch of water on your lawn. And if you're expecting rain in the forecast, you might want to monitor exactly how many inches was put down your lawn during that week, and this way you can supplement whatever your lawn may need. So let's say, for example, there was about 1/2 inch of rain from Mother Nature herself. If you know you had 1/2 inch in that one day, then you only need to supplement another 1/2 inch to 1 inch to meet your lawn needs. So just keep in mind, whatever system you're using, whether you're using an oscillating system, impact sprinkler, or any kind of sprinkler system you're using, it's very important to know what you're putting out and measure it out. It's usually a one-time thing you'll have to do, but once you know exactly what your system puts out, you can compensate with the amount of time that you need to put down 1 inch of water on your lawn. Now, a little common sense needs to play here. If you're watering your lawn and you're noticing your lawn is starting to puddle, you're starting to have water puddling in certain areas, you might want to hold off on watering, let it drain a little bit, and then continue watering. This usually typically happens around the shaded areas of your home. So what I do is normally water for 20 minutes, stop watering, and then come back a few hours later, water again, just to make sure I'm able to get 1 inch of water. But I don't want to water to a point where I'm drowning it and I'm seeing water and running off. So you want to watch out for that. Another thing I wanted to really stress here is no matter what type of fertilizer, humic acids, or any kind of miracle juice you're going to use, your lawn is not going to look like this unless you water it properly and water it consistently. 1 to 1.5 inches a week your lawn needs. So I hope you found this video useful, and tune to these videos right here for more tips on lawn care. With that, thanks for watching. Take care.